Enough rain to make the streets wet, and that's about it. But changes are on the way, and for some, you may need a brush to get the stuff off your windshield before heading to work or school in the morning. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us.
We're going to turn it over to Hutch Johnson so he can tell you all about the word we've all been dreading to say. So, Hutch, how is it looking tonight and tomorrow?
Well, right now it's looking wet for some. We had just a little bit of light rain move through the FM area. That rain is now pressed off into western Minnesota. But the cold air with this system will be making its way in from the northwest overnight. You can see the effects of the cold front moving through the Devil's Lake and James River Valley right now. As we head towards morning, some of us will have a few flakes of snow mixing in. The best chance of that in northwest Minnesota. It will be light, maybe a few flakes out there. It should not inhibit your travel. Go figure. It's Severe Winter Weather Awareness Week. Hey, in the depth of winter, remember that survival kit, a full tank of gas, a charged phone. We'll have more in the hour-by-hour forecast, but suffice it to say, we'll have at least a taste of winter for many of our counties by the time we're all said and done on Thursday morning. Details in a few minutes.
Just slowly heading into winter.
A little transition.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Hutch.
The FBI has been asked to investigate the incident at a South Carolina school after cell phone video of it went viral. A resource officer appears to body slam and drag a disruptive high school girl across the room. The officer is now on administrative leave. The ACLU says a child should never be treated that way, but others defend him, saying the video isn't complete and doesn't show what led up to the arrest. Valley News Live showed the video to people in downtown Fargo for their reaction.
Holding on a chair, knocking her down. It's so frustrating when I watch that. It pains my heart, already. It's so frustrating. I think they should be all penalized.
I have a great amount of respect for law enforcement officers and what they go through every day, and they walk into situations not knowing the details or the story of anything. They're just, they're focused on safety.
A West Fargo school resource officer says it's a tough job. They haven't had to use force before, but it must be within the school's policy and within the law.
We have some exclusive details now regarding the disappearance of a Bemidji, Minnesota woman. Police are asking for your help locating Rose Downwind. She was last seen wearing a blue sweater and black pants. She hasn't contacted her family in more than a week after talking with her sister at a Target store in Bemidji. Police now say Downwind's ex-boyfriend has come forward to say he saw her leaving a residence in Stoner Avenue last Wednesday. She may have left in a blue vehicle. However, Cassandra Mountain, Downwind's best friend, tells us Downwind has a history of physical fights with that ex-boyfriend. And late this afternoon, Rose's mother, Georgia Downwind, told us that she received a text message from Rose on Wednesday after her ex-boyfriend reported seeing Rose. If you have any information about this case, contact Bemidji Police at the number on your screen.
Human remains were found in a farm field just east of Alexandria, Minnesota earlier this week. Authorities believe woman's identity is that of 18-year-old Laura Schwindeman, and Schwindeman's family has confirmed the identity on a Facebook page dedicated to the search. Schwindeman disappeared nearly 2 weeks ago. Authorities say she was with a man she knew, but they have not elaborated on what role, if any, he played in her disappearance.
The search continues for a man who held up the community co-op gas station in Pearlie, Minnesota this morning. Employees say they've never been held up before, but figured it might happen sooner or later because of the uptick in crime 30 miles away in Fargo-Moorhead. Investigators say the robber was armed with a baseball bat and got away with an unknown amount of money. He's a white man that had a black hoodie on and a gray stocking cap.
Next Tuesday, voters in Detroit Lakes will decide on a $68 million referendum to help out schools. It's not the first time voters there have cast ballots on funding education. Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood sat down with the superintendent and teachers to find out what's different now.
The $68 million referendum for Detroit Lake schools has those who work in the system excited. They say more space is needed.
Class sizes are out of control. I think that if it passes, there's more we can do with the kids that we have. It's time.
We have a great problem in that the growth of our school district is moderate, it's healthy. However, it's starting to create issues.
If passed, another middle school will be built and renovations will be made to high school and current middle school. Money will also be used to provide educational opportunities aimed at preparing high school students for the workforce or college.
We listened a lot more this time.
2 years ago, DL voters said no to a $59 million proposal. The superintendent says he's confident this time around, having learned from the past.
The last time we went for an elementary, the folks didn't like that plan, and so we went back and relooked at things and made some adjustments, and this time we're asking for a brand new middle school.
I really hope it passes.
Within a week, voters will find out if this plot of land behind me will house new middle schoolers. In Detroit Lakes, Christine Stanwood, Valley News Live.
If it passes, someone in Detroit Lakes owning a $150,000 home will pay $23 more a month.
In the first poll conducted after Clinton's appearance before the Benghazi committee, a poll of likely Iowa Democratic caucus goers shows Hillary Clinton with a 41-point lead over Bernie Sanders. Today, Valley News Team's Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro asked Sanders for his reaction to the polls. With a shrug of the shoulders, Sanders blew off the numbers, saying poll numbers go up and they go down. The presidential candidate said he's going to win the Iowa caucus and the Democratic nomination because he has the strongest ground game, he says. His political movement is still drawing crowds on the campaign trail, but in the halls of Congress, political endorsements for Sanders are hard to come by.
Well, I think Secretary Clinton will have almost all of the establishment support. But I'm pretty proud that we have 750,000 Americans who have contributed to our campaign.
Sanders said one big thing is going to change. He's going to start airing political ads on television stations across the country, something he has yet to do.
A recent study shows the next 5 years will see a significant growth in population for Fargo. 15,000 additional people, bringing the city's population up to 133,000 by the year 2020. One part of the increase will be new Americans. Dan Molly heads up the City of Fargo Community Development, which conducted the study. He says those new Americans will come from different backgrounds and will fill different roles and jobs in the valley.
When we talk about new Americans, it comes from two distinct groups. You know, a lot of times we're talking about people that are escaping war and poverty, but there's also a very highly educated, a highly motivated group that's associated with the universities and the healthcare systems in our community, and these are new Americans too. You know, and so it's very diverse.
In regards to where these people will work and live, Molly says it'll come down to what's most cost-effective for them.